Welcome to today's video where we are showcasing our fabulous award winners from 2021. And I'm delighted that we're joined by London Luton Airport today, who won Team of the Year for Small Procurement Team. So congratulations to you all. I'll just let you introduce yourself so people know a little bit more about you, and then you can tell me about your great case study. So Terry, we'll start with you.
Hi, thanks, Emma. My name is Terry Gittins. I'm Head of Procurement at London Luton Airport.
Great to meet you. Thanks, Terry. Jelly?
And I'm Jennifer Cartwright, the Senior Category Manager here at London Luton Airport.
Great stuff. Tanya?
I'm Tanya Schreider. I'm the Category Manager for London Luton Airport.
And Ruth. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you. I'm Ruth Ampong, the Procurement Officer here at London Luton Airport.
Fabulous. Great to have you here.
Also, we'd like to mention two of the people that have left the organisation that are part of the procurement team that helped us win this award, and they are Michaela and Tina.
Excellent stuff. Really nice to recognise people who are part of your journey and helped you get there. So Terry, let me start with you. Tell me a bit about your programme and what the original business driver was.
Yes, Emma. What we'd like to do to start with is actually give you a bit of a background of where we were. So in January 2020, we'd just completed a record year in terms of passengers. We had 18 million passengers going through the airport. Record profits, everything was geared towards expansion. We'd just given our owners of the airport, Luton Borough Council, a sizable sum which they invest in the local community, and everything was looking really rosy in the garden, and all the plans were about expansion and what we would do. Fast forward to May 2020, and the COVID pandemic is hitting its first wave, and the passenger growth across the whole of the aviation industry had massively decreased. We were in a position where we were less than 10% of our passengers going through the airport. Our revenues had virtually disappeared, and we were in a desperate situation. We weren't the only people. We realised that obviously that affected a lot of businesses across the country, but particularly part of the leisure and the corporate hospitality industry. We were really sort of backs against the wall. For us then, it's really clear that we need to have a plan that's completely different from the one that we had started in January, and we needed to sort of try and minimise losses and survive as a business. Internally at the airport, we'd taken steps in terms of taking advantage of the government's furlough scheme. Unfortunately, we had to make redundancies, but that wasn't going to make it, as a success in terms of getting through it. So what we had to do was contact our key suppliers and our concessionaires and work with them to actually put a programme together that would minimise these losses and make us survive.
Excellent. I mean, real challenging times for your sector. I mean, I know lots of sectors were really impacted, but the airlines in particular, I guess. So how did you go about this? You knew what the problem was, and how did you go around solving that challenge?
Yeah, and it was very, we hadn't planned on how to resolve it, which was very, very strange. Because we weren't expecting it. So the first thing we did was turn off the spending tap through demand management. And then we had to introduce new cost-saving programs in addition to anything that we had got planned. What was key to that was to get the buy-in from the service areas and the suppliers. For that, we needed a very clear communications plan, because what we didn't want to do is come across as draconian and then suppliers would think, well, what are we doing and where are we going? Because we knew that we would have to open again as an airport. We also committed to support some of the vulnerable suppliers, the ones that would go out of business if we weren't trading with them, and the concessionaires at the airport. So that was key. Another thing was that it's not just all about cost cutting. We wanted to continue on our corporate social responsibility program that we'd started. We'd recently a few months before got SIPS accreditation, and so we wanted to implement some of those recommendations, some of those best practices we'd learned from doing the accreditation. So it wasn't just a one-tier program. You know, we had to look at many levels of the supply chain. We wanted to champion remote working because we couldn't go into the office. And, you know, it was very, very key that we had to sort of change what we were doing and how we were approaching things as a team. And one of the things I'm most proud of is and for the team, three of the team are here today, is how we as a team work together. And I'm very, very proud of the people that are in my team with me today.
That's brilliant. Thank you for that. Jenny, if I could ask you a question. So put all these things in place. What were the major benefits that you found from putting all these interventions in place?
So I'd say as a business, we survived, and the procurement team contributed to this by reducing costs by £14 million and also recognising that our survival was reliant on the survival of our suppliers and our concessionaires. So what we did to support them was introduce contract holidays and also reduce their activities, which then meant they were able to use the furlough scheme and cut the costs themselves. This then meant that when the travel industry picked up again, our suppliers and concessionaires were there alongside us, ready to go. And throughout the challenges posed by the pandemic, we never lost sight of the importance of supporting local businesses. And with the minimal spend that we were managing at the time, we focused on local suppliers, which had a direct benefit on our local communities. Internally, we continued with the SIPS training for individuals, and we also encouraged our team members to continue on with their CPD hours. We also set up a procurement council, which included the exec and senior management teams. This then meant that we were able to implement cost-saving initiatives quickly without any delay. So I'd say, to summarise, the benefits were realised by supporting and working closely with our suppliers, our concessionaires, and our colleagues across the business.
Excellent, thank you for that. And Tanya, if I could ask you a question as well about, you know, what were the most challenging aspects of the project, and how did you overcome them?
Well, the devastating impact of the COVID pandemic came with great challenges that our airport has never seen. We went from 1.5 million to 100,000 passengers in a month in less than 5 weeks. The spend for cleaning and PPE increased. Suppliers would not be receptive to cost reductions, and the cheaper supply would always be selected. Not only have we focused on delivering savings, but we improved the quality in our tenders that in turn resulted in providing a better service from our suppliers. Our early achievements demonstrated that our commitment to the wider business and shared objectives. We pivoted to new innovative ways of working, such as e-signatures or e-learning for procurement training. We also leveraged our internal communication channels like Teams or Zoom to ensure colleagues were informed of the work and changes the business was seeking to deploy. A significant challenge was on-site business becoming insolvent due to the lack of revenue. So working alongside the commercial team, we varied contracts to give suppliers and concessionaires temporary reductions in rent and fees to support their businesses. Another hurdle we had to overcome was team communication and morale. So we arranged daily morning meetings where we discussed daily objectives, barriers, commitments, and most importantly, social well-being.
Excellent. And so, I mean, massive achievement. What's next? What's coming next?
Rebuild London Luton Airport as a business and focus more on sustainability. We want to provide guidance and support to our external suppliers with our successful training on how to bid programme. And in addition to this, we are going to obtain the renewal of our SIPS accreditation and rebuild the skill set within our department. And as the airport grows, we will grow as a team and become more embedded with the organisation.
Fabulous. Well, we wish you all the best on that one.
Thank you.
Ruth, what did it feel like on the evening when you were all dressed up? A room full of people, all these amazing organisations who had entered the awards, and London Luton Airport's name was read out. How did that feel?
Well, we were shocked and speechless. Basically, making the final was a massive achievement as the standard of competition is extremely high. So after such a tough year with our backs against the wall and fighting for survival, it was a ray of sunshine and hope for the future. We will always be grateful for this, and it will stay in our memories forever. It was great to be recognised by the world leading procurement body. We really enjoyed collecting the award and celebrating after. It was even rumoured that some of the procurement team were late the next day. But this is history.
I think you deserve a little coming in late the next day after that. Excellent. No, and it was a fabulous evening, I think, because we'd been so long, all working remotely, to come together to celebrate. It really was quite an electric atmosphere on the night. So has winning made a difference internally? Jenny?
I'd say it definitely has. It's given us more credibility across the organisation, from our CEO, who stated that the procurement team had been a significant contributor to the successful and rapid change in direction of London Luton Airport, but also through to our operational staff and security, one of whom actually saw that we'd won the SIPS Awards and was intrigued to find out more, so offered up her free time to come and shadow the procurement team and just find out a little bit more about what procurement actually does. And I can now say that she's joined our team on a permanent basis as our procurement administrator. And I'd say as a team, it's definitely given us confidence to know that we're on the right track, and it's encouraged us to strive for more. We continuously look for ways to improve and be the best at what we do.
Excellent. I'm so pleased for you. And so what nugget of advice would you give for people who are thinking of entering the awards this year? What could you take from going through that process and advise others?
Sure, I'd say firstly go for it by just entering. You get as much better idea of where you stand as a procurement team. As what you do is literally take a step back and look at your achievements and successes. One of the things that we did as a team was we looked at the previous entrances, in particularly the previous years, and from the winning entries we could see areas that we were good at. It was very positive that we could also be included in our entry. What I would say is that we are really looking forward to the award categories this year, and we hope to be back.
Wow, we very much look forward to seeing you back again. So congratulations once again. And I very much remember the conversations that we had with judges about how impressed they were with a small team being really agile and responding quickly, and those sensitivities over, businesses that could potentially go under, and the difficulties around furloughing and making people redundant, and how you dealt with that sensitively and in true partnership sense. So very well done. I hope this has inspired you to enter the awards for this year. So please go to the website, register your interest, download the entry kit. As Ruth said, just go for it. Don't put it off. Start nice and early, because don't underestimate how long these things take. London Luton Airport, congratulations once again, and it was a delight to meet you and hear more about your story today. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Emma.
Thank you very much.